Alright, the little subheading under decimals now. There's two different things we have to learn about dividing. We're only going to cover one of them today. Today is to divide a decimal by a whole number. When you divide a decimal by a whole number, eventually we get to dividing a decimal by a decimal. But just like with adding and subtracting, we have the phrase that says line up the decimals. When you divide, we also have a phrase, and that phrase is simply this. Bring up the decimal. Which will be very, 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 very clear to you in just a second here. Which means I have this problem here. Let's do it. Yeah, 0.4 divided by 5. I suppose, no, I'm going to start with a different problem, sorry. Let's do this one. Let's do 3 into 0. Let me start with a different problem. 3 into 4.2. We gotta work our way into the tough problems. 3 into 4.2. Okay. The rules of division do not change. It's whatever. Please don't eat my D-Rant Sally or never eat soggy waffles. Wait, no, that's that. Whatever Mrs. Lutz taught you, or gumdrops or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Those rules still stay the same. The only difference in this is this. Okay, when you bring up the decimal, that means this. Before you start your whole division problem, wherever the decimal is in the dividend, you bring it straight up from where it's at, and that's where it's going to be in your quotient / answer. Okay, then it's just a matter of doing regular old division, but you got to make sure you're working straight columns, otherwise you will get something a little goofy here. Since 3 goes into 4 one time, you put the one time, you put it above the 4, you do your subtracting, you do your bringing down, 3 goes into 12, 4 whole times, and there's nothing left over. So your answer here is 1.4. Pretty simple. The next one, 3 into, here's where things get a little more dicey, 3 into 0.24. Okay, again, the rule is you simply bring up the decimal. So it's going to go right here in my answer. You need to jot down zeros to hold down some places here. 3 doesn't go into 0, so there's nothing there. After the decimal, you can't just skip numbers now. If 3 does not go into 2, because it's after a decimal, you have to put another 0 in there to hold that place down. And then you can go 3 into 24, which is 8. So you have to be careful when there's a decimal there. Do my subtraction. Okay. Now write this down. Okay. Never, ever will you end up with a fraction or a remainder with decimals. Never will you end up with a fraction or a remainder with decimals. If you end up with those, you will get the problem wrong. Just get that in your head. Okay, I don't mix fractions with decimals. If I'm doing a decimal division problem, my answer is in decimals and strictly in decimals. Okay, so if you end up with remainders or fractions, you've done something incorrect. Now let's go back to this one. I didn't want to do it before, but let's do it here. So now, here is the one thing you must always remember, and I cannot tell you the number of 7th graders and even 8th graders that get this wrong. When you grew up and you learned division, okay, it was always the pattern that you had a big number that was divided by a smaller number. Okay, with decimals it doesn't matter. You can divide small numbers by big numbers or blah, 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 blah. So it gets a little confusing. So you must understand, when the problem is written out like this, people get confused whether the problem is this or is the problem this. Because those are two different problems that will give you two different answers. So hopefully, at the end of the day, you'll somehow get it in your mind to do it the right way all the time. Which one of these is correct? Is it 0.4 divided by 5, or is it 0.4 divided by 5 divided by 0.4? Sam?
0.4 divided by 5.
This one?
Yeah.
Or this one? Who agrees with Sam? Who disagrees with Sam? Oh, we got a couple stranglers out there. Okay. Remember, when you transfer this from written out like this to this, they do actually flip places. The 5 goes on the outside, the 4 goes under the box. Because as you read this, how do you read this? It is 0.4 divided by 5, which is what this is, 0.4 divided by 5. So it is not this way. This is the answer there. And you could have guessed that because, remember, today we're not dividing by decimals, we're dividing by whole numbers, so we wouldn't be doing that type of problem. So here's what it looks like. 5 goes into 0.4, bring the decimal straight up. Okay, now 5 doesn't go into 4, so I put a 0 above there, and if I want to do this, I can do this, and I'm left with a 4. What do I do with that leftover 4? I cannot make it a fraction, and I cannot make it a remainder. Zach?
Add 0.
Okay, yeah. With decimals, you keep adding zeros until it works out nicely. Now, I don't know how many it's going to take. It doesn't take many more because this one works out right here. I drop down that 0. 5 goes into 40 8 times, and it works out nicely there, so I can stop with that. Okay? But there's sometimes when I need to add a bunch of zeros. For example, if I take 8 and divide it into 1, I'll put the decimal there. And I'll actually put 8 into 1.0. Step number 1 is I bring up the decimal. 8 doesn't go into 1, I can put a 0 there. That was not required, but this one is. Oh, wait. How many times does 8 go into 10? Once. I get an 8, I subtract, I get 2. I can't leave that as a remainder, or can I make it a fraction, so I have to add a 0 and bring it down. How many times does 8 go into 20?
2.
2 times, which is 16. I subtract, I get a 4. I can't have remainders or fractions, so I bring down another 0. How many times does 8 go into 40?
5.
5 times evenly. So there is my answer. It works out as a big long decimal. We will get to places where it doesn't ever work out. That throws us for a loop, but that's neither here nor there. So just remember this especially, flip-flop those places. Make sure you work it out until it all works out.